Welcome back to Paige Goes Design. Today I have a Christmas tree garland project to share with you. It's an adaptation of last year's Christmas wall ornaments that I made out of vintage greeting cards. I did it two different ways this year. I used vintage greeting cards for my first attempt, and it's how I completed the Christmas tree that I started with the ornaments last year. And the other is a galaxy garland design for my friend's Christmas tree that's a Star Wars theme. And I went out to nasa.gov and pulled up images of the moon's surface and nebulae and planets and just deep space, and printed those out on cardstock, and I'll show you what I did with them. The first and most important thing to do is to show you how to create these triangles out of a 2-inch circle. This project takes a lot of circles, and if you attempt to cut them with scissors, I just don't think anybody will have the patience for that. You really need this tool. It's by Fiskars. There are probably other brands out there, but it makes it fast and simple. And you take your image greeting card and pop out 8 circles for each sphere. Now, the galaxy garland had 60 spheres, so that's 480 circles. The vintage greeting card garland had 100 spheres. That's 800 circles. The length will depend on you. You can put more spacer beads. The reason why there were fewer spheres on the garland for galaxy garland is because I put more beads in between each sphere, and just depends on how you wanted to drape. I felt that the vintage greeting card needed to be bulkier, and so I only wanted 1 bead in there, and the galaxies, I thought they needed to be spaced out a little bit further. But first I want to show you how to cut or fold back those 2-inch circles to reveal an equilateral triangle. And I thought it was better to show you on a bigger circle. Now, I also think it's better to create a template to fold back against, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I started off by finding the center of my circle, and the easiest way to do that is to fold it in quarters. To reveal the center. And I go ahead and mark it with a pencil. Now you're going to fold back the edge of that circle to that center dot. And then you're going to turn it. And you're going to fold and create a point. But again, fold that edge to the center. Your equilateral triangle. Now, I think the best thing to do is to this triangle. And the reason why I cut it is folding it and tracing it with the edges still on makes the triangle slightly larger than it needs to be. Just the bulk of folding over. And then take a piece of chipboard, and if you might say, I don't have any chipboard, most tablets or sketch pads have a piece of chipboard in the back. And trace that triangle, cut it out, which I've done here. Nice, hard, sturdy surface that then you can place in the center of your circle and fold back against. Now I've done so many of these that I actually cut a triangle out of lucite, plexiglass. Gives a nice crisp edge when you fold back your circles. But what you might want to do is cut all your circles, and over time, when you're sitting maybe at an appointment or watching a movie, fold back the triangles because it is monotonous. If you do it while you're watching a movie, it makes it far more palatable. From there, you will take 8 of those. These are all ready to go. I find that it's easiest to glue, take your glue, I've made so many of these in the last couple of days, I'm almost out of glue. I will go ahead and glue 2 of the triangles on 2 sides. And then leave it laying on the table and match up two of those folds. Now with the other one, it's already glued. Match up that third side and then set it up. And by making sure it's flat, here's that. And from there, glue the other side the same, and you're going to have 2 domes. Put glue on all 4 flaps of one side. And match them up with the other side of the dome and pinch. Your sphere. Another 60 of them, 100 of them, depending on how many you want to make. Now this garland ends up being an 8-foot tree. I have an 8-foot by approximately 3-foot tree, and I've made my garland for that one 30 feet long. And because I draped it, it doesn't quite fit to the top. But I could have draped it a little less and it would have totally fit. From there, you're going to need 10 yards of string, and I've taken that string and done a single crochet about 2.5–3 inches, and you're going to leave that slip knot at the end. Other end back, after you've knotted off that end, thread either a 6-inch upholstery needle like I have here, or you can use a wire and fold it, create a little eyelet at the end. The reason why I'm using a upholstery needle though is I have beads which have smaller holes, and the wire and wouldn't go through them, but the upholstery needle does. Now, you can create any configuration you'd like. The more beads you have in between the spheres, the fewer spheres you're going to need. But start with putting the small wood beads at the end near the crochet loop. Just put your spacer beads in between. Another sphere. Finish off again. Spacer beads at the end. Now, to finish off, create that loop, do a slip knot at the end. Crochet hook. You could simply just knot this off as well, but I like the finished look of having a crocheted hoop at the end, or a loop. I am not a master crocheter. If you leave enough length, you can take your needle and thread the excess back through. In this case, I didn't leave enough. What you're going to do is pull that through the loop, take it down to the very bottom, pull it tight. Like, you could put another little knot, but you don't have to. And that's basically all you have to do. Here's a slight variation. By trimming the spheres with pinking shears, you can create a slight different look that you may want to include in your garland. Also get an elongated look if you just join 3 together instead of 4. It's totally
up to you.